here. I'm here with Anne Marie Pierce. She is at Robinson Middle School in Kingsport City, and she teaches the functional academic class for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And I have been very fortunate to work with Anne Marie this year, and that's why we're here today, is to talk a little bit about the grant and how you have utilized the coach. So thinking about that, Anne Marie, and thinking about the coaching support that you have received this year in the competency-based progression by focusing on products to improve literacy instruction, if you kind of could talk a little bit about that support and what that's looked like and meant for you.
Okay, well, it has been a wonderful experience for me so far. Just basically, just the emotional support has been one of the best things for me because this has been a new position for me this year, a totally new thing, stepping out of my comfort zone.
Because your background was
elementary and early childhood focus, and I got my master's in special ed 3 or 4 years ago, and stuck with the elementary kind of resource-based special ed program and moved to our SLE Functional Academics 3 this summer. And so, like I said, this was completely new and didn't really have, I felt like this was kind of my program to develop into.
Part of that competency is, how do we know that something is competent? How do we know a product is competent? And seeing results, unfortunately, not necessarily unfortunately, but is a part of that. Have you been able to make connections to the products that you've been using and to the outcomes you wanted to see for your students? Like, has
Absolutely.
the investments you've made with those products, has that been proven in your mind to be worth it?
Absolutely, and it's been great. I mean, of course, especially with special ed students, the work can be just so rewarding because just any type of growth that you see is such a celebration, and I feel like we've had so many celebrations in our classroom.
Well, and you're being modest, but yes, you have been fully doing that. You have been growing your students like crazy.
And thank you. But it's been such a team effort. I mean, we have a lot of different people helping with that. I mean, you're such a big part of that. Instructional assistants that work, and the gen ed teachers who support them in science and social studies. Everyone is a part of that team, and just being able to know, you've offered so much support in how to pull all those people together, those pieces together for our students in a real meaningful way. It's just been really neat for my students to be able to look at their data each week and chart their growth. I think that's really important too, for students to be accountable for their data, and to know this is what my next step is. I think it kind of holds them more accountable too.
Yes.
So.
Well, and knowing that your students kind of are getting a program tailored specifically to their needs, can you talk a little bit about planning and how, when you have a competency-based program itself, how just that program itself and making instructional decisions is impacted? Is it a positive impact, negative impact? How has it maybe, like when you think about planning, has it helped you in planning when you think about the products that you've used?
It's definitely been a positive. I mean, looking at each learner individually and their needs, and looking at their next steps, and being able each week to conference with students, and thinking about what they think their next steps need to be, and
versus what actually their next steps are.
Right, and what we see that the data, what we are thinking their next steps need to be. But it's funny, as the semester has gone on, as the year has gone on, they're getting more closely aligned. Students are realizing, okay, this is what I need to be more proficient in this area, and it's really neat to see them thinking of themselves more as a learner instead of that negative, I can't do that. They're seeing the successes that they're
can
having.
Be successful
with
the right support. I think that's great. Well,
and so just your having the weekly check-ins, and looking at my students and like where they were starting, and kind of just bouncing my ideas off of you. was a tremendous help in the beginning, setting up the processes that I was starting in my literacy block and things. And then helping me find the resources that would best fit each individual student, like being able to utilize the best Malthus and Pinnell kit that was actually housed in another elementary school, and you're physically going and getting those materials for me, and that's just something that someone might think is small, but it's just a component I don't have to think of during the week, and knowing that those materials are going to be ready for me, and also showing me some other materials that I can utilize, like Match Fish Tank, where I'm still letting students have access to grade level curriculum, but at their instructional level. Things like that has been so beneficial. But then just also analyzing data and as the semester has continued, and seeing where my students are growing and seeing things that maybe we need to go back and look at and revisit, things that we might need to
tweak or
that might not be working out
Yes.
so well. It's just been, like I said, a great emotional support for me.
Well, and so we have a semester left, which is hard to believe that we have a semester left and that it's gone by so quickly at the same time. But how do you see, when you think about the coaching support and competency-based progression, that may be something that can shift? The grant allows those shifts to take place based off the needs. So knowing that we have a whole new semester ahead of us, how do you see that support shifting?
Well, I see that just the level of support just only growing, and just our relationship growing, and just you have been a real advocate for me, and I just see that relationship just continuing. As far as like my learning environment, our learning environment, we just got a new classroom, and it's been really exciting because it's a great space, and just some ways that we can make that a better learning environment, make some maybe with some different furniture options that weren't really the best fit for the last space was really small and
tight. It was real tight. And now you have like a huge big classroom.
Yeah, I know. So this is going to be, I think you've given me lots of ideas and things that would probably be good for students, as far as like some furniture options and things, and some flexible learning ideas. And I think that's just exciting, and it's just causing me as a teacher. I'm a learner too, and this has been a new learning experience, but it's been so positive because it's causing me to learn and think about things in new ways.
Well, I have definitely enjoyed learning from you this year and working with you, Anne-Marie, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to sit down and talk a little bit about what we've been working on, and
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to the next semester.
Me too.